How Stella Got Her Groove Back is one of those films from the 90s that I had always heard of. I had always seen its cassette tape and its CD. I developed a bit of an interest in seeing it for quite a while. I had it on my terabyte for quite a few years. Never got around to seeing it until just last night. And, you know, when it came out, it didn't really receive a whole lot of good reviews to it. It was mostly mixed, mostly lukewarm. But, you know, I was really surprised with how much I actually did end up liking it. The movie is far from perfect. It's by no means a masterpiece. But, I don't know, the amount of good that this movie had really helped raise what was presented to us. So, How Stella Got Her Groove Back is kind of like a 2-hour-long soap opera episode. Except instead of a whole bunch of different storylines happening, there's only one. And yeah, the movie hinges on Angela Bassett. It's her movie. Taye Diggs is her love interest. Whoopi Goldberg is her friend. And seeing how the three of them are able to connect and interact with one another, it is kind of nice to see. So the movie deals with Angela, who plays a 40-year-old. She's a pretty uptight, really wants to just keep making the big bucks in the big city. But one day, her and Whoopi Goldberg head to Jamaica, where they're just enjoying life, lots of enchantment, lots of gloriousness. And they end up meeting this pretty boy. Very good looking dude, whose the name in the movie is Winston Shakespeare. And Winston Shakespeare is played by Taye Diggs. Them being together, it is nice to see because Angela Bassett, a very beautiful woman. Taye Diggs, even all the heterosexual guys, such as myself, must admit that he's a good-looking dude, very, very charming. And the chemistry between the two of them, it is just wonderful. But, of course, the majority of the movie is about the age gap between the two of them. He's 20 years old. Like the Winston Shakespeare character that he plays is only 20 years old, and she's 40. Because it is such a big age gap. Because Stella has so many things going on in her life, like in terms of work and in terms of family. Because her ex-husband and her son and all the finances. Like does she really have a whole lot of time for just a general fling? And when things end up getting more serious in between the two of them, that could kind of be a little bit catastrophic for both parties. As the movie is progressing, and there's all these nuances between both of them, and the chemistry, of course, which is wonderful, is happening. We really don't want anything bad to happen to either one of these two. Like, let's be honest, this is a pretty cliched film about the working woman and the free-spirited guy. But something really strange happens in this film. We do grow to really enjoy what we see. We really like these characters. And, I thought that this movie was going to be kind of like a Woody Allen and Annie Hall sort of thing, like where even though they're not going to get married, lots of good came about from it. I thought it was going to be like that, but it isn't. But that kind of stuff doesn't end up happening, so yeah, spoilers, whatever. And frankly, I'm happy that it didn't go the Annie Hall way. Because I want so much for Stella and Winston to just get together because, as I said, how often do we get a cliched soap opera movie where we're so into it, and we like so much of what we see, and we really care about these characters. How often does it happen, right? One of the big flaws of the film, aside from the movie being pretty cliched, is it's a little over 2 hours. It's about 124 minutes long. Not a big deal or anything, but the movie felt way longer than it actually was. Like, sometimes when I see an epic film, or like even just a film that just happens to be over 3 hours, like a Magnolia and Shortcuts, well over 3 hours, both those films, and they go by just like that. I love how those long films go by really fast. But Stella Got Her Groove Back, much shorter, and it felt way longer than it actually was. So yeah, because of that little bit, I don't think that this movie really reaches much height. It wouldn't have been so bad if maybe the movie had more originality to it, if it had a little bit more energy, or even if there weren't so many climaxes like scattered throughout the second half of the film. There's like climax in a few minutes more, another climax, another big turning point. Did they try too hard? Maybe so, but whatever. It's really not a big deal. I still do think that How Stella Got Her Groove Back is one of the most underrated films of the 1990s, one of the most underrated romance films of that decade too. I feel like giving How Stella Got Her Groove Back from 1998 3 stars out of 4. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you again next time.